Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajanna Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanna Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Sri Radha Madhava ki, Sri Radha Giridhari ki jai, Garantara srimadbhagavatam ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivirajika Jai Jashodhara Shri Mad His Divine Grace Abhay Charan Arvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivirajika Jai Jashodhara Shri Mad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Samaveda Bhakti ki jai. Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Krishnasthai Vale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Dinamini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishri Shunyavadi Pasyadya Adi Shatarini. Today, we're reading from the fourth canto of the Bhagavatam. It's chapter 22. This is text 46. Sure quiet in here for so many devotees. Is there enough air in here? Do we need to open the door a little bit? Everyone's okay. 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 Oops. Rats. What did I just do? There we go. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Swam eva brahmanah bhunkte swam vaste swam dadati cha tasya eva anugrahena anam bunjate kshatriya adayah swameva brahmano bhunkte swam vaste swam dadati cha tasyaevanugrahenanam bunjate kshatriyadayah swameva brahmano bhunkte swam vaste swam dadati cha tasyaevanugrahenanam bunjate kshatriyadayah swameva brahmano bhunkte swam vaste swam dadati cha tasyaevanugrahenanam bunjate kshatriyadayah Anyone else like to recite this verse? Anyone else? Okay, this is the word for word, the synonyms. Swam, own. Eva, certainly. Brahmana, the Brahmana. Bhunkte, enjoy. Swam, own. Vaste, clothing. Swam, own. Dadati, gives in charity. Cha, and. Tasya, his. Eva, certainly. Anugrahena, by the mercy of. Annam, food grains. Bunjate, eats Kshatriya Adaya, other divisions of society headed by the Kshatriyas. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras eat their food by virtue of the Brahmanas' mercy. It is the Brahmanas who enjoy their own property, clothe themselves with their own property, and give charity with their own property. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipped with the words Namo Brahmani Devaya, which indicate that the Supreme Lord accepts the Brahmanas as worshipable gods. The Supreme Lord is worshipped by everyone, yet to teach others, he worships the Brahmanas. Everyone should follow the instructions of the Brahmanas, for their only business is to spread Shabda Brahma, or Vedic knowledge, all over the world. Whenever there is a scarcity of Brahmanas to spread Vedic knowledge, chaos throughout human society results. Since Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are direct servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they do not depend on others. In actuality, everything in the world belongs to Brahmanas, and out of their humility the Brahmanas accept charity from the Kshatriyas or kings and the Vaishyas or merchants. Everything belongs to the Brahmanas, but the Kshatriya government and the mercantile people keep everything in custody like bankers. And whenever the Brahmanas need money, the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas would supply it. It is like a savings account with money which the depositor can draw out at his will. The Brahmanas, being engaged in the service of the Lord, have very little time to handle the finances of the world, and therefore the riches are kept by the Kshatriyas or the kings, who are to produce money upon the Brahmanas' demand. Actually, the Brahmanas or Vaishnavas do not live at others' cost. They live by spending their own money, although it appears that they are collecting this money from others. Kshatriyas and Vaishyas have no right to give charity. Kshatriyas and Vaishyas have no right to give charity, for whatever they possess belong to the Brahmanas. Therefore, charity should be given by the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas under the instructions of the Brahmanas. Unfortunately, at the present moment, there is a scarcity of Brahmanas, and since the so-called Kshatriyas and Vaishyas do not carry out the orders of Brahmanas, the world is in a chaotic condition. The second line of this verse indicates that the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras eat only by the Brahmanas' mercy. In other words, they should not eat anything which is forbidden by the Brahmanas. The Brahmanas and Vaishnavas know what to eat, and by their personal example, they do not eat anything which is not offered first to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They eat only prasad, or remnants of food offered to the Lord. The Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras should eat only Krishna prasad, which is afforded them by the mercy of the Brahmanas. They cannot open slaughterhouses and eat meat, fish, or eggs, or drink liquor, or earn money for this purpose without authorization. In the present age, because society is not guided by Brahminical instruction, the whole population is only absorbed in sinful activities. Consequently, everyone is deservedly being punished by the laws of nature. This is the situation in this age of Kali. Chaksurun minitam dena taismai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashadi Gaur Bhakti Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Banchikapataru Bhashtya Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Bhavani Bho Vaishnavi Bho Namo Namaha. So, with your kind words, blessings, I'll try to say something. Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras eat their food by virtue of the Brahmanas' mercy. It is the Brahmanas who enjoy their own property, clothe themselves with their own property, and give charity with their own property. So this is a great verse for self-serving Brahmins. Right? You kind of like frame it, put it above your door, like that. So this is fantastic. It has to be understood. And it's because of its misunderstanding so many problems have been created. Of course, the main problem, the Prabhupada points out in the purport, is due to lack of qualified Brahmins, society is chaotic. Because the Brahmanas represent the head of the Lord, the head gives direction. So if there is no direction, you may have the most, the strongest body, arms, legs, this, but there's no direction, or the wrong direction, it doesn't matter. All the facilities, if it's misguided, in fact, what's that word, diskritina? You have sukritina and diskritina. Diskritina means meritorious, Prabhupada says, but diskriti means bad or wrong. So big arrangement, but all in the wrong direction. Creates so many problems. So that's one thing Prabhupada's pointing out here in a few places, that due to a lack of qualified Brahmins who give instructions on the proper course of action, society is chaotic. Without a leader, when you don't have a leader, things become very difficult. In fact, if you go back a few chapters, we have the whole story of Maharaj, Vena. They put him in office because he needed some kind of king. They took a risk on him. What is that? A blind uncle's better than no uncle? A mad king's better than no king? Right? You ever hear of Ivan the Terrible in Russia? Why do you think he got that name? A king called Ivan the Terrible. Imagine we had a temple president, Krishnadas the Terrible. Who wants to go to that temple? Right? So a very cruel person. Very, very, very cruel. But he was the king. He was in charge. So the point being, there has to be someone in charge and to give direction. So in the natural arrangement by the Lord, what is that? Chatur varnamaya shrishtam guna karma vibhaga saha. It's a natural arrangement. There's a head. There's some direction. Every society needs some direction. And the best direction is those who are in sync with or representing very well the wishes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's what the Brahmins are supposed to be. Brahmana means one who knows Brahman, or spirit. And that's the proper direction in human society. And everyone else follows their guidance. Now the problem is when there aren't Brahmins. What is that, Brahma Bandhu? What does Brahma Bandhu mean? Friend of the Brahmins. Hey, I happen to know a Brahmin. I'm not a Brahmin, but I know a Brahmin. Right? Brahma Bandhu. Like that. You're not really a Brahmin. You're born in the family, right? You have the family is there, but you don't have the qualification. My father was a brain surgeon. I never went to school, but maybe I can operate on you. No, thank you. Like that. But my father his father was a brain surgeon too. I just didn't take the time to go to school and get qualified, but I come in a family of brain surgeons, so it doesn't work out that way. So this is what's described here. Now that's the big problem. So the qualified Brahmins are representatives of Krishna, just like it says here. Everything belongs to them. Now what does that mean? Well, Prabhupada explains, on one hand, we know that everything belongs to Krishna. Isavashamidam sarvam. Everything is a property of the Lord. In this material world, who are the caretakers? That's the point is, who are the caretakers of the property? That's what it means. That should be the Brahmins, because they know what Krishna wants to be done here. Just like a caretaker is a person, they're at a particular property or building who keeps everything together because they know what the owner wants done, whether it's a museum or a landscaping or something, the caretaker. They keep everything very nicely arranged according to the desires of the owner, like that. So everyone is supposed to be a caretaker in this material world according to their position, but especially it's ascribed to the Brahmanas because they're wise. They're supposed to be wise, very, very wise and pure. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains, there's many different places, but I thought I'd read this one. We all know this verse. All you thread-carrying Prabhus, you know the verse in Bhagavad Gita about Brahminical qualifications? Janard, do you know what chapter it's in? The qualifications of a Brahmin? Have you got up to chapter 18 yet? Yeah. Okay. Samodamastapa socham kshantir arjavameva cha jnanabhijnanamastikam brahma karma svabhavajam. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness, these are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work. That's an interesting point. There's natural qualities. No, it's not forced. It's not forced. You just naturally incline towards peacefulness and self-control and austerity. Austerity is the wealth of the Brahmins. Have you ever heard that expression before by Srila Prabhupada? Austerity is the wealth of the Brahmins. Like that. Purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. What is that? Saptakam? You know the story of Saptakam? He was the one that he approached Gautam Muni for initiation. And back in those days, you had to be a son of a Brahmin, you know. So Gautam Muni said, who's your father? He said, I don't know. So go ask your mom and come back. So he went and asked his mom. He said, Mom, I want to live in the ashram of Gautam Muni, but I got to tell him who my father is. She goes, well, sonny boy, have a seat. I got a story to tell you. I've had many men. I don't know who your father is. I don't know. I just don't know who your father is. So that's kind of embarrassing, especially in previous days. Now it's quite commonplace, but in previous, in Vedic culture, you don't know who your father is. What are you called? Yeah, that's, what's the Sanskrit for bastard? I don't know, but it's there, right? What's in Bengali? What is it when you don't know your father? You're born out of wedlock. Huh? Oh, right. See, it's so rare that he doesn't even know the word. In elevated cultures, you just... So anyways, he goes back to Gautam Muni. He says, okay. He goes, without even batting an eyelash, or whatever they call it, he goes, well, my mom told me that actually she doesn't know who my father is. So I have no idea who my father is. And Gautam Muni could understand, this boy is so truthful. An ordinary person would try to make something up or would not even come back like that. But he was so truthful. He just told the truth. And based on that, he let him move into the ashram, Saptakam, like that story. So devotee is very, 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 very truthful and honest. Knowledge is there, wisdom there, and religiousness is there. Astikam. Like that. Astikam. And that means just doing what's right. The real thing is vijnana is wisdom, like that. Knowledge, gyan, vijnana, those are very, very important. Astika means a person. Astika means you're religious and so on. So these are the qualities that brahmanas have. And if we don't have them, then we really can't take advantage of what's being described here. It doesn't apply to us. That's the point I'm making. It doesn't apply. It doesn't apply. And the point is the downfall of Vedic culture and Indian culture is without qualification, people are acting in these different positions. Where's the qualified Brahmana? Where's the qualified Kshatriya? Where's the qualified Vaishya? Even where's the qualified Sudra? You can't even get a good Sudra these days. Isn't that amazing? You can't even get a good Sudra. Everyone's, Panchama? 5th class or lower. You can't even get a good Sudra. Right? Even people that say that they look for employees. They can't get people having a hard time. Employers have a hard time getting employees. Someone told me the other day, a while back, they heard someone was trying to give someone a job, and the rule on the job is you couldn't use your cell phone, so he wouldn't take the job. So because he couldn't play with his cell phone while he's working. I wonder how much time is lost on the job for people because they're on their cell phone so much. I mean, they estimate, you go to work for 8 hours, you get about 2 or 3 hours out of people, really good work. That's about all you get, because everyone's goofing off on the computer, cell phone, right? So it's hard to get even a good Sudra, let alone a good Vaishya, a good Kshatriya, a good leader, and a Brahmin. It's Kali Yuga. It's very, very, very difficult. So the different perks, if you want, that are offered in the Vedas for these different, just like Kshatriyas can exact taxes, if they use that money, for the welfare of the citizens. Otherwise, they have no right to take any taxes. They can't just take it all, big, big, fat salaries, and do nothing for the people. They can't do that. But what do we see today? Everyone's complaining. That's why all these politicians can run on the platform of, we'll fix it all, we'll fix it all. Every 4 years, we'll fix it, we'll fix it. And every 4 years, it's the same thing. All that money is collected, and the citizens feel neglected and, uncared for. And that's what's going on. how much vast sums of money are being collected in this country in the form of taxes, and what's it all being used for? All kinds of weapons and all kinds of things that just not for the welfare of the citizens. So they have no right to be a Kshatriya. All those, right. The military and so on, yes. I had to work with someone. I worked at this company called Glow. They made metaphysical greeting cards and vegetarian cookbooks. Dr. Levin used to come to the temple. And the gentleman who was the CFO, I mean, it was a small company. Parshakti worked there. Got a few other devotees' jobs there. But he was in the Navy on a what do you call it, aircraft carrier for a few years. And he told all those stories, how much they had to write things off for, how much, charge, was it $16,000 for a screwdriver, this or that. And then when they, every year you had a budget, and if, he says they used to push all kinds of stuff overboard as if it didn't exist. And then he said one time the admiral came and said, we're getting an audit. He said, if I go down, you go down. So you better fudge the books. So that's our, accountability like that. But he said you wouldn't believe what was going on there. Waste. Yeah. So as far as Brahmins and devotees, because, this sounds fantastic. Everything belongs to us. And all we have to do is check in with a local Kshatriya or Vaishya and say, come on, I need a little money, or a lot. And they're supposed to give it to us. That's not going to happen, It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. This is a thing of the past, like that. So another point here in the purport is very wonderful is the fact that it says devotees, they don't depend upon others because they have full faith that they're being maintained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When anukulyasa sankalpa pratikalya varjam goptite varanam tata. They have full faith that Krishna is maintaining me. He'll take care of me. So they don't really depend on others. And that's the point is, when the devotee accepts charity or asks for charity, they're not thinking this person is giving me their money. They're saying that person is releasing some of Krishna's money to me. That's what's going on. Krishna, through that person, is giving me some money, some help. That's what's actually going on. It's not that person's money. The proof is at any moment, Krishna can take all of it away, and the time will come, all will be taken away. Every single penny will be taken away. Right? That. Yes. But commentary there from Janardhan. So the dead have no pockets. There's that saying, the dead have no pockets. Like that. So everything's going to be taken away. So this is what the point is. A devotee is not, he's unattached. Right? That's why, just like when Krishna and Balaram sent the cowherd boys to the Brahmins, they went and asked, and they came back empty-handed. Krishna says, that's the way of begging. Sometimes you ask, someone gives, so they don't give. So you have to be neutral, because you don't think, this person's not giving. No, it's Krishna's working through that person. Krishna's not giving to that person. Krishna's giving to this person. Krishna's giving this much, that much. It's Krishna is Gopite Varanam Tata. Krishna's the one who's maintaining me, like that. So they don't depend on others' mercy. And actually, a real Brahmin has to be a Vaishnava, because Vaishnava means a devotee of Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. And, it's a sidelight, but yesterday I asked but Bhakti-Vatsal, he's going to India. Going to Gujarat, he has to do some things with the elderly father and so on. And I said, Dhanidhar, can you pick up some Brahmin threads where you're going? He goes, no. So what do you mean, no? He says, they don't have any. He said, there's no Brahmins in Gujarat. He said, it's become so materialistic. So materialistic. He said his father has a temple and a school and all that. He said, I don't know, a year or two, when he went to the Pran Patisht, the installation of the he said, just looking at these people, they're not Brahmins. So he's just looking, they're all very materialistic, and they're there for the money. It's a job, like that. So it's just unfortunate situation in this day and age, like that. The Brahmins should be Vaishnavas, they should be pure, and this and that. It's just an unfortunate situation in Kali Yuga. And, to actually be in this position, one has to be very, very humble. And that's the big thing. Trinadapi sunichena. Even though the brahmanas have such an exalted position, the best quality is vinaya, which means well-behaved, or humble. They're very, very humble. They don't think, everything belongs to me. Everything's mine. They don't think that at all. It's that actually nothing belongs to me. That's one of the qualities of a transcendentalist. Nothing belongs to me. Everything belongs to Krishna and should be used in Krishna's service. That's how. Now, that doesn't mean a Brahmanan won't use things. They'll use everything at their facility for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because they see everything is actually the property of the Supreme Lord. So, this, what is the other thing? Akinchana Gochara. What does that mean? Akinchana Gochara. Right. So the akinchana means you just don't, you don't feel you own anything. You have nothing except Krishna. That's it. I have nothing but Krishna. That's the mentality of the Lord. I have nothing but Krishna. So all this money and facility and so on that comes and goes, and this person has that, and people become, they have that Forbes 500. Who are the 500 wealthiest people in the country or the world? And this. In fact, it's interesting that Bloomberg, number 9, either in the country, in this country, 9th wealthiest or the world. Yeah. So, but you think, wow, that's amazing. Gone. 1 second, all be gone. Krishna takes the whole thing away. And whose money is it? It's Krishna's money. And so the devotees just aren't attached. They're not thinking, it'd be amazing if I could get a little piece of that. No. Devotees make so many plans for preaching, but they leave it up to Krishna. They leave it up to the result up to Krishna. So, the point is, where does it put us? We're supposed to be these kinds of Brahmins. That's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to have these qualifications of being peaceful, self-control, austere, pure. It's socham, means pure, clean, very, very clean. So, when we hear these different things, we just have to see, well, how do we stack up here? Because the opulence of Brahminical culture will follow in proportion to our qualification. It follows. Krishna, because what's the first line of the purport here? This, Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahman Hitaya Cha. Jagadaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. For Krishna, Brahmanya Devaya, he's the Lord of the Brahmins, and he's also the protector, Hitaya Cha, of the Brahmins. In his eyes, Brahmins are worshipful personalities. Well, we have to have that qualification. So it's very, very, very important. So, it's good from time to time to look over, have a checkup. It's like we have our physical checkups. How you doing? Of course, when you're young, you don't think you ever need one. Right? When you get older, you start wondering, hey, wait a second, things aren't working right. So I need a checkup, see what's going on. So to get a checkup on our qualities and so on, and that's actually, you could say, it's a daily thing, and that's why there's this hearing and chanting. Why we always hearing about devotees? What is the Bhagavatam? The Bhagavatam is only 2 things: Bhagavat and Bhakta. That's it. The Bhagavatam is that book that's just about the Supreme Lord and the devotees. That's all you find in the Bhagavatam. Other Puranas and other literatures, you'll find so many different things, but in the Bhagavatam, it's the devotees and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And, throughout the Bhagavatam, it comes up again and again and again in the different pastimes and so on, how anxious the Lord is and other devotees to serve the devotees. That principle is brought up over and over and over again. It's the key to success. Even the Lord himself. In Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came back from Gaya as a God-intoxicated personality, as a Vaishnava, what was his seva? He took up some service for the devotees there in Mayapur. What was it? Yeah, he used to do their laundry. Very, very, very humble. Like that. And we hear many different stories about the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So humble, pay so many obeisances to so many devotees. They just look for so many ways to serve the devotees, wouldn't take any service from the devotees. So we're supposed to emulate that. in whatever way we can. That's what it means, a devotee. So that's like living in the ashram. It's wonderful. It's like you get all the chances you need to serve the Vaishnavas. If you think about it, that's the perk. All those things that are glorified in the pages of the Bhagavatam and the Vedic literatures, it's a setup for us. It's already set up. Whereas you living outside the temple, you don't get that much chance. I mean, householders are supposed to see like that. My kids are devotees, my parents are devotees, my wife or my husband, and so on. But in the ashram, there's so much arrangement to serve others. It's that's what it is. It's a place for seva. It's not a place for boga or bhojana, enjoying. It's not. In the sense that I'm the one. No, I'm not the one. I guess you could say one of the biggest things is I look at it this way. When I catch myself like skipping, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Taking shortcuts on my service. I catch myself, so I'm not that important that I can do this. Cut corners. Because that's what it is. I'm so important. Maybe I'm supposed to like clean the ashram upstairs or the bathroom, and I just go, I'll do the toilet. I won't do the toilet. Maybe I'll just do the sinks or something like that, or I'll sweep the floor, but I won't wash the floor. I mean, given if there's no emergency and there's no time, but we skip corners. We skip corners because, and why is that? In many different ways, because we think we're very, very important. We're more important than we actually are. No, we're actually just. What is that? Das anu das. We're servants of the servant of the servant. Do you ever? Never mind. It's an example. But I don't know if it's your age. You ever read those books by those illustrated books by? His name was Scary. Last name was Scary. Scary. I think his last name was Scary. But it was like children's books, like little animals. And one of the characters was a lowly worm. Lowly worm. There's a little worm. Lowly worm. Humble character. Like they were supposed to be like lowly worm. Just the servant of all the devotees. Like that. And Prabhupada, they're dying upon, right? He was in the room and all the executives left and there was a junior executive there. And Prabhupada turned to him and said, what is your goal in life? And he had all the business cards there. That story, he had all the business cards there. And he, the president, vice president, and he took his card and put it on top. Stack. I want to rise to the top. Where the devotees is just the opposite. They want to go down. Our philosophy is to go down, not to go up. Like that. So, that's just something to think about. Is, our service to the devotees. And it's sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow. That's the saying. It's a hard pill to swallow because our nature is we're very, very proud and so on. But this is the place where that can all be turned around. And this is one of the symptoms of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees is their humility. The Vaishnavas are very, very humble, whereas others aren't. They're known not to be like Smarta Brahmanas or the Shaivites and things like that. They don't cultivate humility, do they? They usually don't. They're very, very. They're very proud of their position. I think I told you the story. I did a wedding once, and after the wedding, I cleaned up and I went up, and I knew the caterer and so. But anyways, the Indian gentleman was there and said, "Oh, Panditji, can I get you a drink?" I said, "Yeah, I'd like a little water." He goes, "No, I mean a drink. Drink." I said, "No, I'm a Vaishnava." I said, "I don't even drink tea." He goes, "Oh," he said, "that's too bad." He said, "If you were a Shaivite, I could get you a bourbon and scotch and water or something." He said, "They drink all the time." I said, yeah, you're telling me, I said, "That's okay. Okay, next time you meet a Shaivite, help him out. A priest, Shaivite priest. Not that they all do that, but he was saying, oh, too bad. He's saying, oh, too bad. Because if you were, a Shaivite, I could have get you, scotch and water or something like that." So, they have no idea. They have no idea. But the devotees are very, very, very humble. And how do we develop humility? It's only by serving others and doing our seva around the temple. So, it's something that we should really, really think about. We have our service, it's our ticket for serving the devotees. And that's what's glorified throughout the pages of the Chaitanya Charitamrita and the Bhagavatam and so on. And we always like reading about all these other devotees who are so humble and serving. but it's meant to, oh, that's what we're supposed to do also. And even in our own movement, there's so many devotees who have risen to the top because they've gone so far down, in the sense of always seeing themselves as servants of others, servant, like that. So what was I just thinking about the other day? Oh, we're on the patio. We're talking about Satsur Maharaj, right? About Satsur Maharaj. They're talking about Satsur Maharaj. Who brought that up? Who was out there? Mukundashan, I was asking. Okay, so I said the first time I met Satsur Maharaj was in Boston in the 70s. And he was sannyasi, and he came down the stairs, and on this one landing there, we all paid our obeisances, and he paid his obeisance to us. And we all caught that as something amazing, because remember the old days, sannyasis really cut a real edge? It was like, like that, I'm, and he just paid his obeisances, I thought, wow, what's, he's paying because that really caught our attention. Like that, being very, 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 very humble and always wanting to serve the devotees. Prabhu, what can I do? And so, it's 8:32. Yeah, there's definitely probably some things to bring up on this point, your realizations and questions.
Tell a little story about the Brahmins of this age. It goes back to about 1981. I was living in Philadelphia. Jay Swami was there, the rest of the BTG crew. I think Sadaputa was living in the house, or maybe Yadubar producing the first movie, Anyway, it was quite a place. So we would have guests occasionally. And Maharaj, I don't know, has traveled to somewhere. There was one very nice Brahmin, born Brahmin, young man, and he was interested in getting the association a little bit, and so he agreed to, he decided to live with us. He was invited to live with us for a week or two, like that. It was winter time, so there was a whole plan. How are we going to heat this place? It was it was 3 stories big, the cheapest. So the cheapest way to heat that place was to have a coal stove in the basement and burn coal, and then the heat would go throughout the house, rather than have radiators everywhere. So that meant that we had the shifts in taking the old ashes out and loading it with coal, So you've got Jayaweda Swami taking his shift, and we had a bunch of Nagaraj, I think Nagaraj was there, and I took my shift and everything. So we asked this Brahmin, he would like to take a shift. Oh, no, I can't do that. That's not my work, So he was stuck in that format, not realizing that the value of serving all the Vaishnavas and doing that. So it was just made very personal and obvious that this is part of the fallen culture of India, where the Brahmins they get a position, but the quality of humility and the Vaishnava, which would just to do the needful, like Prabhupada. How are we going to in L.A. the story of showing how to sweep the floor, how to get on his hands and knees with a damp cloth, and he's cleaning the floor in New Dwarka, showing how it's done. So that this is such an important purport in the points you're making. How the great opportunity to serve the Vaishnavas, that Krishna appreciates that so much that we should take care of it by serving the Dham and serving the Vaishnavas like that.
Yeah, there's that saying we've heard over and over again, don't try to see Krishna, but act in such a way where Krishna wants to see you. Well, I tell you, the quickest way to do that is be recognized as a servant of the Vaishnavas. The fastest way to get Krishna to recognize you is to become servant of the Vaishnavas. That's like the fast ticket. That's express. Nothing else. You can be a big jnani, know everything, this, that, but if you're not a humble servant of the Vaishnavas, Krishna's not really that impressed. So that's another point too. And another thing is, I've asked different devotees in India, why is there trash everywhere, this, that, and people just throw it. And I've been told a few times because people think, well, the bungis will pick it all up. In other words, that caste consciousness is below me to pick up my own trash, let alone anyone else's. And they'll take care of it. This caste consciousness, the place is filthy because people just think, right? They'll take care. The bungis probably think, the hell with you. I don't know. I'm going to get a job, IT or so, I don't know what. Yes. Little as possible.
You're speaking about humility. Humility is the crest jewel, the crown quality of a devotee. And you're giving these many examples of humility. The story you just gave us, that's for Maharaj or Javita Prabhu, about taking turns doing menial chores. I was just thinking about how it's unfortunate that we live in a society, at least especially in the West, how many of the youth were taught not to. It's just what uncultured society is, not taught to respect our elders. And one thing that is deeply engraved in my heart by the example of others since my early years as a bhakta is His Grace Nitya Gaur Prabhu. When he would, anytime like a senior devotee would enter the temple room, mainly, especially Prabhupada disciples, immediately he'll offer his obeisances. And he was like my senior devotee, he was like my Shiksha Guru, somebody I accepted as a mentor. So I would always try to follow him. And I feel like it's really important that I did. And then especially when I went to India, I was seeing so many of my God brothers and God sisters going so much out of their way to serve the Srila Prabhupada disciples. And it gave me an understanding of what the reverence should be, the humility that we should have before senior devotees, especially Prabhupada disciples, but really anybody more senior to us. And just having that level of just respecting, just relating on a level of that much respect, just kind of brings a philosophy to life. Because just like you're saying, the tendency is to walk as if we are some higher person. But really, the highest person understands that he's the lowest, the servant of the servant. So thank you for bringing that point up.
Anything else? Who's cooking breakfast? Please. So everyone can hear it out there. Cyber.
Madjanmanak palamidam madukaita bhare. Madjanmanak palamidam madukaita bhare. You know it? Anyone know it? Please how to make my life fruitful? What pratani mananugraha eva. If you're really merciful to me, this is my one prayer. Tvod britya britya padicharika britya britya brityasya britya iti mam smatalokanata. You hear that one? My dear Lord, please show your mercy to me and make my life fruitful by making me the servant of 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 your servant. It's all in the verse. It may have inspired the Dasa verse, but Lord Chaitanya.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, yes. Yeah. So that's the contribution of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, teaching people to be the servant of the servant of the servant. That's why we're so unwelcome. But that's what we have. Because we know that's the way to be recognized by the Acharyas and Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, srimadbhagavatam ki jai, all glories to the assembled devotees. And the unassembled ones too.